For a little over 25 years, business in the community has mobilised business leaders to tackle the most challenging social issues which our society faces. As Business in the Community's president during the last quarter of a century, I feel enormously proud to have played a small part in building this powerful organisation. But I particularly want to pay tribute to the tremendous work of our leadership teams who have inspired so many companies to join the movement and have offered their employees skills, time and resources to the needs of individual communities. We've seen that companies which invest in long-term relationships with local communities can transform people and places while building a stronger business, loyal employees, and an enhanced reputation.
It's not just about being a nice business. Actually, it's about being a really good business.
Business today, more than anything, is about inspiration.
I think to be a responsible business in the community today is all about knowing what you have to give a community back as well as what you take from it.
For me, business today is about long-term sustainability.
It's less about revenue and profit and more about a holistic, healthier society.
Business in the community stands for responsible business. What does it mean to be a responsible business? How can we as a movement of businesses and other organizations help companies create a sustainable future for people and planet?
More than ever now, we face considerable challenges in some of our most deprived communities. So many of the practical answers are known to us. How to support community entrepreneurs, build employment skills, develop business brokers, and focus our mutual efforts. However, our task now is to take this knowledge and maximise its impact collaboratively. Collaboration was the key to success in Halifax in the mid-80s, and it is heartening to see the same spirit developing in Burnley, where 10 of my charities are working with business in the community. It is interesting to notice how innovation and inspiration seem to follow collaborative effort.
Like many towns in the UK, Burnley has its problems. For many youngsters, there's nowhere to go after school, nothing to keep them off the streets. However, the Space Bus project is a genuine shining light in the area.
For me, the purpose of the youth bus is providing something that the young people want at a time and a day that they've asked for, so it's meeting the needs of those young people.
What Business in the Community have been able to do is bring together a number of partners from the private, public and voluntary sector to work together to make the bus a reality.
The bus is absolutely brilliant. I mean, we should have one in every area.
I think what is different here is saying we want to build a network of mobile youth provision up and down the country in urban, suburban and rural areas that feel part of a wider community.
My Seeing is Believing programme has enabled business leaders to get out into the community and see examples of best practice. More often than not, I'm delighted to say, they take what they learn back to their offices and implement it, sometimes even putting it on a bigger scale. For example, Greggs have developed a breakfast club model which other businesses have followed to tremendous effect.
Our children can't learn if they're hungry. Their physiological needs aren't met if they're hungry and thirsty, and now they're not.
Well, the Breakfast Club started back in 1999 after a Seeing is Believing visit that the previous chief executive of Greggs, Sir Michael Darrington, went on a visit with the Business in the Community team. We see 6,200 children every day across the UK getting a nutritious, healthy breakfast that is provided absolutely free for them.
I like the way because you can see all your friends on the morning instead of having to wait to get into school at 9 o'clock.
Our attendance is up, punctuality is up, and academic achievement is up. And because our children are achieving, the status of the school in the community rises. We are the hub, and Breakfast Club is part of that hub of the community.
We've seen that companies who focus all their efforts on a deprived community over a considerable period of time can make a profound difference. It takes dedicated leadership and a willingness to understand the real social complexities of the issue. Whether it is addressing the barriers facing homeless people returning to the world of work, or the challenge of establishing a new school in Hackney, it requires sustained commitment to build trust and achieve results.
We decided that we would focus on Hackney. The ability to concentrate our staff's enthusiasms and motivation on one area was matched by the ability of that area to respond to a long-term partner.
Over 7,000 employee volunteers have gone out into the community, volunteering in a huge range of areas, from board membership, mentoring, or being part of business planning, support for a school or a community organisation.
The role of the broker in creating a civil society through the joining of businesses and their voluntary sector partners to communities is absolutely vital.
So for the last 20 years we've had at least one person from UBS on the management committee, and that has grown much more important in the last 4 or 5 years when UBS decided to sponsor the Bridge Academy, because the one thing that was lacking in the area was a high quality secondary school for young people.
When I left school, I joined the army. I signed up for 6 years, and then when I got out, I found it really difficult to get employment. I was using drugs and I was committing crime. I was in and out of prison, so I ended up homeless. I decided I needed to sort my life out. Then I went on the Ready for Work programme. I'd done a 2-week placement at Freshfields, Brookhouse Derringer, the law firm, and then from Freshfields, that's when I realised I was employable.
There is no end, I think, to the demand for our help. And what I point to with pleasure and pride is the fact that Barclays gets a lot of energy and a lot of excitement and a lot of, I think, of fulfilment out of being involved with homeless clients. And the more companies who can do what we and a number of our fellow companies in this sector have been active in, the more they can do that, then the better.
I've always believed that if business brains could understand in detail the challenges faced in the community, they would immediately see the practical solutions. Some of the best ideas over the years have come from business partnerships with education, mentoring teenagers, inspiring subject teachers, or supporting school leadership. The urgent need, however, is to focus business efforts on those schools where the impact will be greatest.
If you look at many of the major companies in the UK, what you will see is that many have been active in schools. Common to many is that this activity has not been needs-based, and one of the attractive characteristics of business class is the ability for all of us in business to learn from each other.
We're in a predominantly white working class area, and we all know that white working class males, particularly at school, are the most difficult to reach. Their aspirations are quite low. The business class scheme, I think, is excellent in terms of making an engagement between this world outside school and the world in school.
I think that the business gets a lot of extra knowledge from the school about what their issues are, issues that we just never even knew existed, really.
Business class is also defined by the fact it operates in a cluster or a group of businesses with a group of schools. We've set ourselves the target of 500 school partnerships, bringing inspiration impact to 75,000 students.
During the last 25 years, my Rural Action Programme has made the urban business sector alive to the very real problems faced in the countryside. The importance of rural communities and the vital role of those who produce our food, tend our landscape and much more besides is one of the issues closest to my heart. My Pub is the Hub initiative has helped to develop pubs that are at the heart of local life. My Countryside Fund, which I launched this year, backed now with a £1 million investment, illustrates the power of business using their brands and marketing muscle to demonstrate the importance of the British countryside.
The fund aims to do three things. First of all, support projects that help sustainable farming and rural communities. Secondly, to find a way of reconnecting people with countryside issues. And thirdly, to help the farming crisis funds. The remarkable thing about the Countryside Fund, its real uniqueness, is it's brought together a number of companies who would really spend most of their time competing against each other in common cause to support the countryside.
The next few years are going to make businesses really have to be very, very flexible and reactive. And for some, that's going to be uncomfortable. We're not going to be able to put a programme in place and say, well, that's it for 3 or 4 years. We're going to have to respond to what's happening at a very, very local level.
I think the role of business leaders in making this happen is to really believe in it themselves. They have to have strong values, and those values need to be well understood in the organisation.
It's about people taking responsibility. Actually, that's at the core of what the partnership is all about, taking responsibility for our business. But it's more than just for our business, it's actually responsibility for the impact our business has in the communities in which we trade.
I think what Business in the Community really does phenomenally well is it makes you look at the issues and asks you, can you help?
Over the years, I have seen what can be achieved when committed and enthusiastic leaders set out to bring about change. With more than 800 members, Business in the Community is in a unique position to bring people together and make things happen. The considerable challenges we now face in both our urban and rural communities also come with real opportunities. Over the last 25 years, business has been working to deliver a stronger, more durable network of communities, with active, engaged citizens taking a lead role. Over the next 25 years, who knows what more it can achieve.